Greetings, I'm Ananda, Shakti from onlyloveisreal.love, and today is day 5 of Navratri, and it is also a day of Lakshmi Devi. Yesterday I spoke quite a bit about Lakshmi. I wanted to say a little bit more. There's endless things to say about a deity who experiences itself as absolutely complete and absolutely full. Lakshmi represents value, self-value, and until we can truly value all of our experiences, all of them, not just the ones that seem resolved or rosy or positive, but all of them, because they are all given to us by Divinity. They are all part of our evolution. We could not be who we are without the difficulties that we've gone through and that we will go through. They are a standing board for us to be able to blossom into the next stage of our evolution. And so until we can learn to really have no shame and no blame, self-blame or blame to others, and really affirm, accept and affirm all of our life experiences, we can't really have self-worth. Because what we're saying to ourselves is that there's something wrong or something that shouldn't happen or something that is bad about us. And then we cannot really authentically open to the energies of a deity like Lakshmi, who is saying that everything is full. Everything is full. And we can only start where we are. It's not something like, okay, we have to get to the supreme consciousness to be able to say that. We can start where we are. Everything is full in this very moment of who we are. It is at the fullness of our capacity at this moment, and we need to honor it. And when we honor it, then we spontaneously grow to the next stage. If we bash it, yes, we can often push ourselves forward, but you will find that sooner or later you retract because it is not a positive impression that you're putting into your storehouse of impressions, which is really all that you are, is a storehouse of impressions. And that impression will sooner or later grab you and pull you back down, because that foundation is not accepted and affirmed and appreciated. So Lakshmi Ma, she brings us this reality of absolute fullness and absolute worthiness. So as we go into this kind of sadhana with Lakshmi, we're going into the sadhana of absolute worthiness. We're going into daring to find our self-worth. And I say daring because it is much more challenging than people think it is. People really don't understand, generally, because they have not dug deep enough to understand some of the shadows that they need to transform. But this is what it's all about. Is even in the valley of the shadows, you know that you are one with Divinity, that Divinity is overseeing you, Divinity is with you, Divinity is not judging what you are going through, that you don't need to fear. You just need to actually find the worthiness inside. And when you find that worthiness inside, then everything becomes so beautiful. Everybody becomes worthy. No matter what they're doing, no matter where they are. I had this experience yesterday as I was really contemplating Lakshmi and calling her in and having some grace. My heart just was opening in ways that I was just praying, please give me the ability to expand enough to meet what's happening right now. And everybody that I looked at, I was in a rickshaw driving, and so on the street, so many, normally kind of unpleasant sights were going on, and they were all beautiful. Every person looked perfectly aligned in exactly what they were doing. And not only that, but I felt like what they were doing was such a tremendous service. No matter what it was, if they were just like lying on the street sleeping, I just felt like the perfection of their being was offering such a tremendous service. And this is the kind of place that we want to be with ourselves all the time, that we see that in ourselves and in each other. And from there we can step towards this fullness, because we start to acknowledge our fullness in that moment. And yes, it's not absolute consciousness, it's not absolute fullness, but it is the absolute fullness that we are able to experience at the time. And we have to work from ourselves. We cannot work in some kind of, imagined reality of some other consciousness that we believe behaves in a particular way or experiences things in a particular way. We need to come from ourselves, and that is the great gift that the divine gives us, is that every individual becomes self-realized. And in that self-realization of the self, then we see the oneness, then we come from there, because every being is made in the image of creation and made by creation. And so the creative power itself is intending and wanting each being to experience themselves as that, as I am love, as a spark of that great creation, as something that can be motivated and led from the inside. Yes, we have teachers and teachings. I have lots of them, and I offer lots of them. Yes, this is all very helpful to motivate my inside to have this realization, but the actual, the little button or the little shift switch that needs to get turned, I have to do it. I do it with grace. Yes, I'm supported and love, and I feel it pouring in, but ultimately it's my ego consciousness that needs to agree to that opening. And it's the same for everybody. So this is an aspect of Lakshmi. An aspect of the fullness is to come into this radical self-worth, that it does not matter what our experience is, we are deeming it worthy. And yes, we do grow, but we grow best from every experience if we've deemed it worthy first. Then we naturally grow. It's a natural artistic blossoming. Just art that wants more art, wants more beauty that wants more beauty, rather than this is wrong and I'm canceling it out and I'm trying to make something that's better than that. What are you saying then to the divine? You're saying the divine is wrong, that the divine has made a mistake. That's not that helpful in the great bigger picture of your incarnation, because you're working against the thing that is your foundation, against the thing that's, they say don't bite the hand that feeds you. That kind of a thing, but we all do it. We all go into those dualistic consciousness. Anyways, that's a bit of my talk on Mahalakshmi, and now we're going to just chant a little bit with the harmonium, and then we're going to actually do some recitation in English. Okay. We're gonna do the words first. Repeat after me, please. Ya Devi Sarva Bhuteshu Lakshmi Rupena Samstita Namastasye 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 Namo Namaha. This means we bow to her, continually we bow to her. So it's like the great goddess who manifests in the form of Lakshmi, in the form of good fortune. We bow to her, continually we bow to her. And it's part of the Devi Suktam, where we bow to many, many aspects of Devi, and we're going to learn a little bit more about that in a moment. it's fun to learn. Okay, we're going to recite the Devi Suktam, but in English, so we have comprehension, and we can bow to her continually. We can bow to her. All right. To she who removes difficulties. So just repeat after me, because if it comes out of your own mouth, it's going to be so much more powerful. To she who removes difficulties, to she who removes beyond all difficulties, to the essence, to the cause of all, to perception, and to the doer of all, to the unknowable one, continually we bow. To the extremely beautiful and extremely fierce, we bow to her, we bow to her, we bow to her. To the establisher of the perceivable universe, to the goddess, to all action, we bow, we bow. To the divine goddess in all existence, the perceivable form of consciousness that pervades all, we bow to her, we bow, continually we bow. To the divine goddess who resides throughout the consciousness as reflections of the mind. We can say this part together. We bow to her, we bow to her, continually we bow to her. To the divine goddess who resides in the existence of the form of intelligence. Sorry, I didn't break that up. To the divine goddess who resides in all existence in the form of intelligence. Together, we bow to her, continually we bow to her. To the divine goddess who resides in all existence in the form of sleep. We bow to her, continually we bow. To the divine goddess who resides in all existence in the form of hunger. We bow to her, continually we bow to her. To the divine goddess who resides in all existence in the form of appearance. We bow to her, continually we bow to her. To the divine goddess who exists in all existence in the form of energy. We bow to her, continually we bow to her. To the divine goddess who resides in all existence in the form of desire. We bow to her, continually we bow to her. To the divine goddess who resides in all existence in the form of patient forgiveness. We bow to her, continually we bow to her. To the divine goddess who resides in all existence in the form of all living beings. We bow to her, continually we bow. To the divine goddess who resides in all existence in the form of humility. We bow to her, continually we bow to her. To the divine goddess who resides in all existence in the form of peace. We bow to her, continually we bow to her. To the divine goddess who resides in all existence in the form of faith. We bow to her, continually we bow. To the divine goddess who resides in all existence. This is one of my favorites. In the form of beauty enhanced by love. We bow to her, we bow to her, continually we bow, we bow. To the divine goddess who resides in all existence, in the form of true wealth, Mahalakshmi. We bow to her, continually we bow to her. To the divine goddess who resides in all existence, in the form of activity. We bow to her, continually we bow. To the divine goddess who resides in all existence, in the form of memory. We bow to her, continually we bow. To the divine goddess who resides in all existence, in the form of compassion. We bow to her, continually we bow. To the divine goddess who resides in all existence, in the form of satisfaction. We bow to her, continually we bow. To the divine goddess who resides in all existence, in the form of mother. We bow to her, continually we bow. To the divine goddess who resides in all existence, in the form of confusion. We bow to her, continually we bow. She is the omnipresent goddess who individualizes creation. She distinguishes the individual phenomena of the perceivable universe, letting us see the universe as individuals. We bow to her. And don't you love the fact that now anytime you feel confused, that you can remember you are with the goddess, that is her. Confusion is part of the reforming of something. It's when something gets like, okay, I can't see clearly now. It means some new clarity is coming. There's nothing to be ashamed of about feeling confused. It means that you're in between two states, and this is the goddess. But everything in the world of name and form is the goddess. You cannot be separated. You are her, she is you. This is the deeper truth. And the more we can remember this, and the more we can remind each other that joy will pervade no matter what our experience is, whether it's hunger, whether it's confusion, whether it's anger or fear. If we know we are one with the one, then we are okay. Our suffering states really come because we feel that we're disconnected when we get into them. That's why they become suffering. Jaya Ma Lakshmi. Okay, so let's work a little bit with the mudra that goes with the mantra that we were chanting yesterday from the Rig Veda of Lakshmi. The Om Shrim Hrim Shrim Kamale Kamalalaye Prasida Prasida Shrim Hrim Om Shri Maha Lakshmi Deviye Namaha. So the words will start to come naturally, but don't worry so much about them. If they come, they come. Otherwise, just do the hand movement and listen to me saying the mantra. We've got, this is Anjali Mudra. These are the mudras we're going to use. Anjali, Padma or Lotus Mudra, Yoni Mudra, and Padma offering. So offering lotus. Lotus offering. Here we go. Om Shrim Hrim Shrim Kamale Kamalalaye Prasida Prasida Shrim Hrim Shrim Om Shri Mahalakshmi Devye Namaha. Om Shrim Hrim Shrim Kamale Kamalalaye Prasida Prasida Shrim, Hrim, Shrim, Om, Shri Mahalakshmi Devi Namaha. When you take the arms up, really take them overhead. I wanted to stay on the screen, so I'm shortening my arms a little bit. But you just want it to go right on top of your head. Om, Shrim, Hrim, Shrim, Kamale, Kamalalaye, Prasida, Prasida, Shrim, Hrim, Shrim, Om, Shri Mahalakshmi Devi Namaha. Sorry, Shri Mahalakshmi Devi Namaha. Bringing Lakshmi right into your heart. Each time that we bring her into the heart, feel you're making a little bit more space, a little bit more space, a little bit more space, welcoming her, welcoming the fullness more deeply. Om Shrim Hrim Shrim Kamale Kamalaluye Prasida Prasida Shrim Hrim Shrim Om Shri Mahalakshmi Devi Namaha. Om Shrim Hrim Shrim Kamale Kamalalaye Prasida Prasida Shrim Hrim Shrim Om Shri Mahalakshmi Devi Namaha. Om Shrim Hrim Shrim Kamale Kamalalaye Prasida Prasida Shrim Hrim Shrim Om Shri Mahalakshmi Devi Namaha. Om Shrim Hrim Shrim Kamale Kamalalaye Prasida Prasida Shrim Hrim Shrim Om Shri Mahalakshmi Devi Namaha. Om Shrim Hrim Shrim Kamale Kamalalaye Prasida Prasida Shrim Hrim Shrim Om Shri Mahalakshmi Devi Namaha. Swaha. Close the eyes for a moment. Feel heart space. Feel it radiating love and fullness, and touching the third eye like a spark of gold light. And then from that spark of light, see the glorious Mahalakshmi sitting on her lotus, blessing and giving, removing fear and giving blessings, embodying your true nature, absolute value, absolute love. See her blessing you, and then see her turning around and emanating blessing out to all of humanity. As little sparks going off like a huge mandala of sparks, each person receiving the blessing of Mahalakshmi, of absolute worth. Take a deep breath along the spine. Retain it at the top, and internally have 3 pulses of Shrim. Exhale to the bottom, and 3 pulses of Shrim. And rub the palms together. When they're warm, place them cupped over your eyes. Feel the warmth And feel like you've got golden light in your hands, so your eyes are being taken even more deeply into the perception of absolute value. And then open the eyes and remove the hands. Thank you so much for joining me. I so much appreciate this time together. And now let's offer up some of the fruits of the practice. May this time together, may the benefits of this time together, the blessings and the benefits of this time together be a blessing for all beings in all realms. May all beings in all realms have love. May all beings in all realms have peace. May it be so. Let's do one chanting of the sound Om together. Breathe in. Om. Thank you so much. We'll see you again tomorrow, I hope. Tomorrow is another Lakshmi Day, and we're going to do more interesting things and perhaps even dance. Have a beautiful day. May Devi's grace be with you.